Hey everyone, this is Michael, and I want to show you how our Superfly license plate holder works and mounts on the Indian Chief. We have a similar design that also works on the Scout 24 and earlier and the 25 and up. And a 6mm. The 6mm I'm going to use to pull out over here the M8s that hold the whole thing together. Indian actually did a really nice job with the frame and setup on this as well as on the 25 and up, because they decoupled the turn signals on the rear from the rest of the frame basically, so you don't really see any of that. So these actually come off from the underside and get replaced by our setup. So we've been doing that since 2022 and we've kept on doing it. We offer solutions for all of the Indian lineup. So this will come out. Normally you have to crack them pretty hard. I pre-loosened it, but you're going to go when you first start, and it'll take a lot of force, but don't worry about that. Alright, so we'll fast forward through this stuff. Alright, so I have the bolts removed now on both sides. And what we're going to do is pry up on the fender, remove that. Your seat will have to be disconnected. Alright, so that exposes the subframe. I'm going to take a chance here. So this part that's taped on basically with VHB, I just take and pull off. I know there's a lot of different ways to do it, but so I do that, and then you use some of the, what's it called, Goo Gone stuff, and spray it on there and let it soak overnight, and you can just scrape it off with a scraper later on. So alright, now we have this exposed, and you can see that there's a plastic cover on both sides here with tabs and everything. So you can unclip the tab, and then there's these little Christmas tree button head things you can pry out of there. You won't be using those again. There's one at the tip there. Get under there. And now you can kind of see in there. So they were using that to hide the wires and everything. We have some zip tie slots in our design, so that'll keep things looking clean. So you see the hardware now exposed there on the underside. So like so, you loosen that up. You don't have to have the tire off, obviously. I did because my tire was mangled. My rim was mangled, so new rims going on this bike. So pretty simple. You remove these from the aluminum subframe, which be careful with the aluminum subframe because it's aluminum. And these are steel hardware going in. You just don't want to cross thread anything or be too aggressive. Alright, so one side is off. You can trace the wiring here in the back to where it disconnects. So we'll take that off later. Then we'll re-string it for the turn signals when they are repositioned. We actually sell our own turn signals, our Micron line, which is what I'll be using on this. We do offer a kit though that will let you take the originals here. You can kind of see where they come apart and use a spacer underneath and still mount them to our Superfly design. All right, here, so on the left-hand side, I'm doing the same thing. These aren't nearly as tight as the strut bolts were. And there's 2 wires here, you'll see. One of them's for the license plate light, which is quite mangled on this. But I'm going to show you how that comes off anyway, because you can move that over. So I have a 5/16 Allen driver. And on this, there's bolts here and here, nuts that you can wind out. And that'll let you reposition the light on the Combustion Industries relocator. You can stop. Okay, so I've got the stalks removed and I disconnected the turn signals. And this is actually really straightforward. So the way that I designed this, it has these flanges that bend out. And you can mount directly underneath using your M6 hardware that we provide. And it gives you a super clean look. And you can also use this guy as well, the X-Wing, that mounts the same way. And then what we started talking about here was the Superfly. So the Superfly mounts up in there, like I showed you. This is where the license plate light would go, so that's actually kind of under that hood a little, which is nice because you're not kind of like blinding everyone. And it looks better tucked. And you could also put turn signals here if you want. We offer a kit that lets you extend those and use your stock turn signals if you want. And then we give you hardware for the license plate to mount. And there's also, for zip ties, there's little 4-inch zip ties that you can use to tidy up your wiring. All right, thanks. This is the X-Wing, mounts to the subframe. Come over here. We do have a turn signal holder, so that turn signal holder will also mount right up in there. So you can use your stock turn signals or our plug-and-play micron turn signals. So that's one option. There's another type of turn signal holder that we offer. This is maybe if you have bags or something, you need to get the lights further out back. So this will also extend your lights out and they'll just kind of look like they're floating there.